If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out.
Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspirational juice. It is July the 11th, 2022, and today the topic is the body. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope that you all had a great weekend. Mine was just fine. To get y'all up to date on what's been going on with your girl. Y'all know on Saturday I celebrated the launch of the lipstick and lip gloss collection called The Juice. So that was really nice. My Plan B outfit came together. So that means my Plan A outfit will be worn at a later occasion. If everything is well with it, hopefully it will come soon. But everything pretty much came together. What I had in mind. The place was nice. The place that we visited, it was called Garden Park in Atlanta, Park with a C. And it was nice overall. We had a little section, so it kind of felt like we, had our own little space a little bit. But the only thing I would say about the place is that I'm interested to see what it's like on a brunch day, because from what I'm understanding, like when they have brunch, or I think on Sundays, they have like a jazz band and that type of thing. And I think that's more of my vibe. The vibe that was at the event that we went to on Saturday, they had a DJ, and it was kind of a little bit more hype than my style is. Not that I can't enjoy myself in a hype environment, but I'm interested to see like what it would have been like in a more jazzy type of vibe. Because the one thing I would say, if I was to complain about something, which I'm not trying to, but I'm just trying to be honest, just in case anybody's considering this place, is that, like, for example, I would have loved to be able to kind of talk to my guest that was there, and I was sitting right next to people and could barely hear them. You know what I mean? So, that's the only thing. So I just kind of wish there was a little bit more, conversation to be had, as well as like enjoying the environment and stuff. But outside of that, the food was good. And yeah, it was a good time. So that's what Saturday looked like for me. Just hanging out with some ladies and loving on them as they have loved on me, and giving and all that. That's what Saturday was looking like. And those of y'all that follow me on social media, then you may have seen some photos, at least on my uh, Facebook. um, but yeah, so that's one thing. And then yesterday, which was Sunday, the Sunday summer challenge has not ended. I know it rained yesterday morning, but your girl still got up and pushed through. And little man and I went to church. It was Grandparents' Day at the church. I don't know if it was actual Grandparents' Day or if it was just something that the church was doing. Because I believe that Grandparents' Day is like a real day. It's our son. Hey, bro. Hey. I inboxed you. Look, more work for us. Can't wait to hear what you got to say. So I can get these quotes out here, brother. Thanks for tuning in, our song. But yeah. So yeah, yesterday I went to church. Little man and I went to church, and they were celebrating Grandparents' Day, and it was good. Like, the pastor was kind of talking about legacy and all of that, and I don't know. It was a good message to receive that day. Um, you know, I don't know. I guess I always get kind of emotional in church. I'll be the one like tearing up and worship and all of that. And so that's kind of how church was for me yesterday. And then after that, I ended up getting some McDonald's and coming home because just in the mood for burgers. Like, I don't know if I told y'all this the other day, but long story short, um, it was like Thursday or Friday that I was talking to NJ, and I was letting him know that, what his gender reveal party was like, because we had a Nickelodeon themed, or 90s Nickelodeon. We got to be specific. It was 90s Nickelodeon themed gender reveal party when we were pregnant with him, and that's when we found out that he was a boy and whatnot. And so it was the anniversary of that event the other day, either Friday or Saturday. I can't remember. I think the 8th, whenever it was. And then and I was telling him about the restaurant that we went and it was like this nice little burger joint. And I was like, I had to take you there one day, NJ, so we can go get some burgers and stuff. And the rest of the weekend, he kept talking about burgers. So I don't know if. So yesterday I did get him a burger on the way back home from church, but I still want to take him to that place one day because it was a nice little place, and would love to just kind of have that little full circle moment of taking him to the place that we found out that he was going to be, a boy and everything. So that was my weekend, y'all. That's what my weekend looked like. And so here I am this morning. Now I woke up this morning, and when I looked at my clock, it was like almost 5:30, and I was like, huh? What? So I don't know if I just turned off my alarm when it went off at 4 or what, but for some reason, I just, yeah, like when I got up and actually looked at my clock, it was after the time that I usually would get up. So I was like, okay, Lord, like, well, thank you for waking me up because, I try to have this thing out by 6 and it's almost 5:30. Like, ooh. But I listened to my prayer meditation and the Lord gave me some inspiration in regards to the topic. And here we are. Here we are. So the prayer meditation today with the Soul Space app, it did have me reflect on the body, our physical bodies. And, so that's what I ended up going deeper with to look up Bible verses and whatnot. And, yeah, it's quite interesting. There's a few things I thought about thinking about this topic of the body. Um, I thought about, obviously, I guess I was convicted a little bit because you may have noticed that your girl has not said anything about working out in a while. And that's true. For whatever reason, I have just not been motivated mentally to work out. I haven't even attempted to do it in a while. And yeah, I don't know if I just needed a break from it or what. Or maybe I'm just I don't think I'm discouraged, but maybe if I'm honest, maybe there might be a little bit of discouragement just because, like, I think the only thing that I'm looking at is my midsection, what people would call the pooch, or I don't know if they would call the fupa, or, my little stomach area. Like, that's the only part I look at myself and be like, ooh, I wish that was a little different. You know what I mean? Outside of that, like, it's not that I had any personal weight goals or anything like that. And so, and I know people would look at me and say that I'm crazy because, people have different body types, and for me to say that I got a little belly, I don't know, might be offensive to people when I don't mean to be that. It's just me and my reality. You know what I mean? I see something I would like to change, and I think we all have that, right? We all have things that we may like to change and whatnot. So I was thinking about that, the fact that I haven't really worked out or nothing, and I'm like, Lord, is this why am I being convicted? Because I haven't been feeling no kind of way about not working out. Like, I haven't. Now there was the other day, like maybe stretch wise or something like that. Maybe I thought about it like, oh, maybe I should be working out or something. But outside of that, I haven't really thought about it. I haven't really missed it per se. It just was kind of like, it's been like an afterthought or something like that. So I guess obviously taking care of my body was a thought as I reflected on this idea of the body, and everything like that. I am reminded of family member. I'll just put it like that, like a family member or two, or there might be a few family members that would be considered, I guess you would say, overweight and things like that. And so, and when you watch, you know, how their life is gone or whatever the case is, then maybe that type of thing kind of pushes you to take care of your body and stuff. And so that did cross my mind as well, when I thought about the body and how we take care of it or don't take care of it and things like that. And so yeah, but let's get into what the Bible has to say, because I mean, I'm pretty sure I'll share whatever else that I was reflecting on as I was, going through this. But so those were some of my first thoughts when I thought about the body. I was like, this whole aspect of taking care of our bodies and everything like that, right? So the Bible, let's get into some Bible here. So 1 Corinthians 10:31, it says, "So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God." That's not a new verse. I think we've all heard that before. I know you definitely have heard it here on the juice. um, you know, do all to the glory of God. I mean, and that's why, I mean, again, when I was working out, and everything like that, I would always, do it for the glory and honor of God. I would tell y'all that was a mantra that I would, kind of chant sometimes as I was working to push through and keep going. Whatever we do. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, God wants us to take care of our bodies, to take care of these temples that He's blessed us with. And again, I know I've talked to you all before about this whole aspect of our bodies being a temple, but I mean, we're going to go deeper with that, because if you look at these verses, a lot of them refer to the body as a temple and everything like that. Matter of fact, let's get to one now. It's 1 Corinthians 6:19. It says, "Or do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? You are not your own." That's one thing that might be Pope, and I think that's one thing that we do not understand, that we are not our own. Um, you know what? I heard this beautiful testimony last week. I shared it on the God, Sex, and Love Facebook. But yeah, I heard a really beautiful testimony where this gentleman was telling what his experience was like using mushrooms, I think. But after he had become a Christian, he used them, and he was sharing that testimony. A very powerful, interesting testimony. Um, and so, um, but he was saying, like, in one of the accounts of what he was sharing, um, he said, like, um, see, it's like I can't tell the story because it's like, it's not my story, so it's hard for me to tell it. Um, how can I tell y'all this main part? Okay, basically, he was saying that in his experience, or it was like, I don't know if he was in what they call tripping or whatever the case is, but throughout the experience, it was like he was um, witnessing a supernatural um, encounter with the Holy Spirit as well as with demonic spirits, and they were communicating, and it was like he was witnessing them communicating. And he was saying, like, one of the things that blew his mind about the experience is that he was having a hard time breathing in the physical as well as, I guess, in the spiritual. And it was like he literally saw God giving him each breath that he took. Um Again, y'all have to listen to the account for yourself and listen to his testimony and listen to him say it, because I'm just trying to just paraphrase it a bit for y'all to get what I received from it. But that's very interesting to think. Like, I think we take our breaths for granted. I don't think it's something that we even think about. But for him to witness in the spiritual, right? God literally giving him every breath that he was able to take was, I believe, life changing to him. I think that's probably one of the main things that stood out to him about the experience. because in regards to the things that he shared. Um, and I mean, obviously, that stood out to me in regards to hearing his testimony. Um, so yeah, I mean, when you think about that, right, and then you think about when this verse says that we are not our own, that's deep. That's pretty deep. That and yeah, so I don't know. I guess that should give us a perspective as well, and something to just really, really reflect on and think about. Because if these words are true, right, then that means that his account is probably an accurate depiction of what it's like for us to breathe, what it's like for us to live, and and at the end of the day, knowing that God is the one that can take that away, giveth and taketh away. It's just that's deep. That's deep, and something to think about. But anywho, let's keep going. Let's keep going, y'all. So then, 1 Corinthians 3:16-17 says, "Do you not know that you are God's temple, and that God's Spirit dwells in you? If anyone destroys God's temple, God will destroy him for for something. I don't know. For something temple is holy. For God's temple? That might be right. For God's temple is holy, and you are that temple." Ooh, I told y'all there was plenty of verses that was referring to us as a temple. And I shared with you all in the past my thoughts about that, because when we think about temples and chapels and all these beautiful buildings, right? They're very grand, and when we think about that we're that, I don't think we do think about that. I don't know if that's a unique thing that I don't think about. I don't know, but I'm just telling y'all what to say here, and that's what I kind of compare it to, because that's what we consider temples to be. We consider them to be these grand buildings of art and holiness and everything. But the Bible literally says that that's what we are. I guess to God, and so that's beautiful. That means that you are special. You are unique. You are um, one of a kind. And all those things where it's just very interesting. Like something else that crossed my mind this morning about just us. And I know I've talked about this all the time as well, but it's just this whole concept that like everything goes against what the Bible says. Like I saw people debating over the weekend about marriage. They were debating over the weekend about like having children, and celebrating the opposite, celebrating oh, this is good that good women out here ain't getting married. This is good that people aren't having children, and all of this, and that's very interesting because again, the Bible tells us to get married. It tells us, well, I guess for those that it's the desire and that we're supposed to get married, that that is an uh honorable thing. Just put it like that. Then, as well as having children, is we're told to do that. Be fruitful and multiply. And everything like that. Yet we have these random, I don't know if you would say rituals or random things, I've never been to this festival, but y'all probably heard of it. Have y'all ever heard of Burning Man Festival? Now, and I guess it's this whole thing, and I, like I said, I've never been to it. I don't know what all they do, but I know at some point they burn what they call like an effigy of a human, right? Like they burn a representation of a big old. It's like this. All I know is I've seen these big old statues or big old whatever you want to call them of a human, and they burned them. And I don't know. I thought about that. It was back in, I don't know when it was, but at some point in my life, when I heard about it and stuff, it just was very interesting. I'm like, why do they do that? Why are they celebrating that? Like, why are you burning a representation of a human? Yeah, even if you want to say it's not a human, that's fine. It's not an actual human, at least not from what I've seen, because who knows, people do that too. But anyway, but in Burning Man, I mean, it's just very interesting. You call it Burning Man, and then you burn the representation of a human, and I just think that's very, I mean, kind of barbaric. It's kind of barbaric and interesting, and just the choices. You know what I'm saying? Like the choice of the name of the festival, the choice of the whole thing of this celebration of burning a representation of a human. Like that's just interesting. Like that's just interesting. So you want to destroy a human even if it's not real. Okay, let's granted it's not real, but it's just the whole thought behind it. Now I don't know if anybody else has ever thought about that. Y'all can let me know. But I just found it very, very interesting. Like, there's a lot of things that's like that, you know, where people are doing these random things. Like, y'all know the whole abortion conversation. I guess y'all probably know where I'm at with it. Um, I saw this horrific tattoo. I don't know if it's a real tattoo. Maybe it just was a painting on the lady's stomach. I don't know. But it was a tattoo of a baby with a knife in his head. And the woman had it on her belly. And this whole, I guess, supportive abortion. Like, we're not thinking about, like, how barbaric and evil and demonic this stuff is. Like, do we not think about that? We just do little stuff like that. But then for some reason, like, I don't think we think about, like, what that actually means and look like and represents. Right? Like, I don't know. That's just something to go deeper about. And that was the things that crossed my mind this morning when I thought about the body and thought about all of this. And what that could, if we're made in God's image, right? We're made in God's image, we as humans. And we doing these crazy things like burning the image of us, which ultimately is the image of God, or putting knives in the heads in art, even if it is art. But your art's demonic, sorry. Look, I be asking the Lord to say whatever he want to say through me, and some of this stuff, I wasn't even thinking about that until now. So, don't get mad at me, get mad at the Lord, I guess. But I don't know, that's just something to think about, y'all. I feel in my spirit, I guess, that type of stuff is demonic to the Lord, and as they say, anti-Christ, and something to think about. Something to think about. But anyway, I just got one more verse to share, and it's Psalm 139:14. It says, I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. This is what we need to get into our hearts and minds. This is what the Lord, I believe, feels about us and wants us to feel about ourselves. I know we talk about this a lot, this struggle that we have with loving ourselves and everything like that. If you do need to be somebody that's, okay, taking care of your body, working out and all these different things, what you're eating, all these things matter. It definitely does matter. But you can do too much of all of that stuff too. So just in moderation, make sure you're taking care of yourself, in these different things. And let's renew our minds. Let's renew our minds about the way we think of our bodies and just us as humans, Maybe things will be a little different if you start to think of you and yourself as temples of God, you and yourself as being beautifully, you and others, thinking of yourself and others as being temples of God, or yourself and others as being, the reflections of God, being beautifully and wonderfully made, and all the things that the Bible says about us. That's the juice, y'all. That is the juice this morning, and I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired by it. There's more verses in the Go Deeper section to peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. But the Bible verse of today is Psalm 77:11-12. It says, I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old. I will meditate also of all thy work and talk of thy doings. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Hello everyone, it's your girl Miracle Sims, and you already know that your girl is now an author, and my very first publication is none other than a creation inspired by the juice. That's right, friends, you can go on Amazon.com and find the Juice 30-Day Bible Study Journal. And this, friends, I hope and pray will help you create your own Bible study experience similar to the one that your girl here shares with you every day here on God, Sex, and Love.